The Family in 2100 by Nina Hamady. Who performs the functions of the family? By 2100, hopefully the world is leaning towards or has already achieved complete gender equality, because that will definitely have an impact on the functions and roles of a family. The family structure by 2100. I believe that the family structure by 2100 will consist mainly of common law partners to single parent and single person households with fewer to no children at all. The family structure has altered in many forms for the last few centuries, and it continues to alter today. There have been many family structures, from the hunter-gatherer family in 10,000 BC to the agricultural family in 1000 BC to the pre-industrial family in the 1600s, the urban industrial family in the early 1800s, and finally the contemporary Canadian family in the 1900s. The family structure only continues to develop and alter. There may still be dual-income households, the blended family, and the transitional family, but the main family structure in 2100 may consist of common law partners to single-parent and single-person households and a lot fewer children to absolutely no children at all. The first function of the family consists of production, consumption, and distribution of goods and services. Production, consumption, and distribution of goods and services will most likely be heavily artificial intelligence-based, making it easier for us humans to access anything we want or need. There is currently a shortage in farm workers, and robots are already starting to fulfill that role. These robots are referred to as crop harvesting robots, and they can fulfill the job of 30 human workers. This indicates that they will increase by the year 2100 and most likely take on the farming industry. Robots taking over the farming industry and assisting in the production, consumption, and distribution of goods and services will limit the amount of work that the family has to accomplish in this section, as goods and services will be readily available to them without any effort needed. As days go on and technology advances, it allows the ability for less work to be done by humans, as there is not much time left in a day for all of the tasks needing to be accomplished by a family. Artificial intelligence and technology can help decrease the stress and pressure this function has on the members of a family. The second function of the family consists of socialization of children by teaching them skills, knowledge, values, and attitudes of their society. This is a very tricky topic, as parents nowadays do not have much time to spend with their children and actively socialize them. The structure of the family is also highly dependent on this, as the amount of single-parent families is on the rise. The amount of single mothers working raised to about 69% in 2014 and 82% for single fathers. It is hard for a single parent to make time to actively socialize their children and work at the same time. This is especially true due to the fact that the number of Canadians living alone has more than doubled in the past 35 years. More and more people are deciding to live in single-person households, and therefore they do not actively socialize children. This number will only increase in the future, and by 2100, children may have to learn to socialize and become dependent on themselves. The third function of the family consists of the physical care of the sick and aged. Since there is a rise of single-parent households, there are not enough people having children to support the aging population. The prediction of the number of children women will have in the future is 1.61 children per woman. This number is constantly decreasing over the years, generation after generation, and only time will tell whether people will even have children by the year 2100. Less and less children indicates less and less of the younger generation to care for the sick and aged. This indicates that the number of family caregivers will drop, and the sick and aged will have to deal with the consequences within the family. The fourth function of the family consists of maintaining morale and motivating individuals to participate in society. There may be a huge lack of motivation in maintaining morale when it comes to individuals participating in society by 2100. The size of families are decreasing. Both parents are returning to work, and it can be extremely hard to find time to motivate individuals into participating in society. If anything, by the year 2100, the only aspect motivating individuals to participate in society is the individual themselves and the rising causes for awareness, such as global warming. This function may be completely non-existent in most families by the year 2100, given the exception that some parents do take time to motivate their children to participate in society and try to find time to volunteer at their children's school. More and more parents are glued to their phone screens, about 57%, while the amount of children on their phones is even higher. With all of this time spent on technology, no time is left to actively socialize and spend time participating in society, and this number will only rise by 2100. The fifth function of the family consists of controlling behavior to maintain order within the family and within society. Since more and more family structures are altering to single-parent households, the chances of parents making time for their children is very slim. More and more families are most likely to hire nannies and childcare services, as it can be harder to manage both work and a child on their own. The same goes for common law families with children, as they will most likely consist of a dual-income household. Both parents would not have enough time for their child, and they may be forced to hire help. In a single-person household and common law household, it will most likely be up to the individuals themselves to control the behavior and maintain order within the family, as they do not have anyone else to really rely on. In a common law household, it may also be up to the partner that may not work, as they may have much more time to control the behavior and order within the family and society. The last function of the family consists of the addition of new members through reproduction. The amount of children produced through reproduction nowadays is about 1.61 per woman. This rate went from 7 children a few decades ago to 1.61, and it is continuing to decrease. At this rate, not many children would be produced. More and more women are also having children later and later throughout their lives, as most cannot find a significant other to produce with. And for this reason, since 1978, more than 8 million babies have been born from IVF, which is in vitro fertilization. This is due to the family structure changing and more women entering the workforce, leaving less time for focusing on the family and reproduction. How will gender roles affect society? Economically, more women will be distributed through the workforce opposed to staying at home and caring for their families. The percentage of women aged 15 and older in the workforce consists of almost half of the entire workforce, about 47.7%. This will lead to more men being comfortable letting their wife or significant other make the money for the family, while they stay at home and take care of the household and children. The economy will hopefully be better than ever once gender equality has actually been successfully achieved. We are almost there. This graph indicates the gender pay gap throughout the year of 2013, trying to make it even once and for all. After many revisions and rules set into place, making companies and employers aware of the issue, the numbers have been dropping dramatically. However, there's still a pay gap between males and females in all occupations. The pay gap is almost dependent on the occupation. For example, men make nearly $30,000 more than women in health occupations. There is still more work to be done, but this is a great step for women and humanity as a whole. How will gender roles affect society socially? Through gender equality, hopefully being achieved in the next 100 years, it will bring more peace and tranquility to the world opposed to whatever it is today. There's so much tension and diversity in the world for no reason. In terms of relationships, with both parties in a relationship playing an equal role in contributing to things around the house and life in general, it will most likely lead to a more happy relationship opposed to a one-sided toxic relationship. Also, due to the continuous growth of the LGBTQ community, there will most likely be a growth in same-sex couple rates worldwide. How will gender roles affect society through politics? Hopefully, gender equality can bring more women into parliament here in Canada and in other governments all over the world. Females fill in about 24.3% of the political participation in Canada. This number is not a large percentage. However, it has significantly increased from the 11.3% of females holding political positions in 1995. As of right now, there are obviously female members in government, but they're definitely seen as a female, if that makes any sense. If everyone is viewed equally and given the right opportunities to achieve what they want in life, the world will be able to function much more smoothly, with everyone being accepting of one another. How will gender roles affect society biologically? There will most likely be a slight decrease in reproduction rates due to the increase in same-sex couples and women in the workforce. Although same-sex couples tend to procreate as well through in vitro fertilization and surrogates, the amount of children being produced overall will decrease, however. Women are having less children as a whole, especially with them entering the workforce and the types of jobs changing all throughout the world. It is not as necessary for women to remain at home simply to maintain the family and household responsibilities anymore. Their number one focus is not having children anymore, and therefore the population is aging. Single-parent households will also not contribute much to the younger generation, as it is difficult for single parents to reproduce a large number of children. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation of the family structure in 2100.